Baruch Hashem, I get Chizzuk from Chassidus right now. Rav Sos is getting extra schar because he has a very big game going on live right now, and he's in overtime, and he's sitting here listening to a shir and Tanya. It's like tremendous. You know the kind of just started. So the kind of schar we get when we do a shir on a Super Sunday or whatever they call it, yeah, and we come like people came to Gedalia's shir on super whatever it's called, Super Bowl. Here, if anyone wants to have Tanya's Torah Mem Aleph, Baruch Hashem, we're learning the importance of having a melech. See, that's the difference. We have a melech. And the whole way through the Megillah, Missing Black last night in Times Square, Hashem Melech, it was all and the Babich Rebbe was going like this in front of thousands of teenagers. Baruch Hashem, we have to make the king in real time.
Not a human king.
We're going to see. We're going to see in a minute. Yeah, the Tany's going to explain it the way we need to have a king. He's going to make it very clear.
And one of the hostages said Shema Yisrael.
Oh yes, the hostages.
He said he was dreaming about doing that.
Baruch Hashem, big Chizzuk. Yeah, it's having these visions. The people in the tunnels are having visions of what it's going to be like when they get freedom. And part of the visions you need to have. You always have to have visions of greatness and freedom. We have a lot of clowns around us because we're getting ready for the Purim Sameach. So it's very important the Simcha, the Zman, but it's also very important to have a little bit Koved Rosh. If you go to my Rebbe on Purim, it's a very serious matzah. Yeah, I'm going to try go on Shushan Purim. One of the Chassidim said to me, yeah, but it's so serious, on the Torah Chassidim. I said, yeah, but I have the party. Thank God we both live outside of Yerushalayim right now until Mashiach comes, or they extend Yerushalayim into Efrat and into Beitar and into all these places. Till then, we're keeping on the 14th of Adar. So we don't get the opportunity to have the Yerushalayim, Shushan Purim. So Baruch Hashem, what's the plus? The plus is we get a second day of Purim. So I don't mind having a bit more of a serious Purim by my Rebbe after having a very Geschmack and Freilich Purim in Efrat. And I'm open to wherever Hashem wants it. If my Rebbe wants to be serious, he obviously knows what he's doing. He knows it's a serious man. It's like Yom Kippurim. It's a holy time. So we're learning Tanya is a little bit more of a sober piece. It's not like so much clan energy. It's more like, Yira and Malchus and Eved and Melech energy. But that's part of the Avodah. When you have the Kohen Gadol, we had to go into the Kodesh Kedoshim. I was saying to someone like the hat, all the begonim, we're Zocha, Shmone begonim, to have special clothing. And, we have to thank Hashem. Right now I'm wearing a hat that my dad gave me. It says Emet Place. So there's apparently some jazz musician who has a place called Emet Place, called Emet. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a good jazz musician apparently. But my dad loves him. He goes on cruises with him. He's like obsessed with this Israeli Emet. I don't know if he's Israeli. I think it's American actually. But he's got an Israeli sounding name. So Emet Cohen, I think his name is. But I like it because it's Emet. We're truth. We're in the place of truth. So let's learn some truth. Says the Balatanya in chapter 41, page 486. He says, and by putting on the sisters, one should bear in mind that it's written in the Zohar, namely, they should draw upon himself the kingdom of Hashem, the blessed kingdom. Which is a kingdom over all the worlds, specifically over ourselves. And this is when it explains your concept of the Melech, that it's not a physical king. It means, you shall sorely set over yourself a king. You see it's that paragraph there? You see where it is? Yeah, you got it?
Start with?
Yeah, but the end there. Turn the page now. We just did that last bit. Yeah, right there at the end, and then at the top there.
Thank you.
Okay, you got it? So you shall sorely set a king over yourself. So what does this mean? The Rebbe Shlita. He is Shlita. Yeah, he was Shlita, and last night he was Shlita. You get what I'm saying? He was alive last night. He was going like this. All right, he's not. He's not so. But nevertheless, we're learning an older text that says Shlita. The verse implies that before one set a king of himself, he had no king. And as he now sets a king of himself. So we know one of the big klalim of Chabad and Tanya is called Mayach Shala Olalev. This is something we all need, especially if we're men. Yeah, Baruch Hashem, women, they can be emotional, it's great, and we're a generation where emotions are very strong and it makes big impact on society. But we have to be men. We have to be Mayach Shalet Olalev. We have to be Malachim. Like our wives are Malkas. We have to be a king. We have to be Mashpia. Our mind has to rule over our Lev and our Kaved, our lower aspects. We have to rule over ourselves a little bit. Have a bit of shlita on ourselves. Not be just whatever, yeah? Just whatever the feelings are. Everyone's going, I feel this and I feel that. Very nice. Feelings are important. We have to deal with them and face them. Emotions are a big part of relationships, probably a most important part of relationships. But there has to be some moach. There has to be some moach. There has to be some ischaschus in the mochin, in the chabad, in chochmah bin adas, which is the moach. Yeah, the moach is a big thing. And in the Megillah, we say Hamelech again and again and again and again. Why so much Hamelech? So it's to remind us that even if we're going to have shikkim, we're going to get drunk, we're going to ad le'ada, we're going to have fredach hazman, we're going to be dancing and be all, but there's still the melech. We're with the melech. It doesn't pat us, yeah? This is where the party side of it's gone too far. We have to remember there's the melech. We're doing this for Hashem. We're not doing this to escape. We're doing this to connect. Connect more, less escape. More connection. In such a case, having contemplate, that means actually spending a little bit of time on Purim, contemplating. Spodidus, not just running around giving out shlach manas like a meshugana, doing whatever your wife tells you, delivering. No. Actually saying, you know what, I'm going to get up earlier, and I'm actually going to give some time to my relationship with Hashem. And I have a connection. I'm saying to him, talk to Hashem. This, Gedalia Fences says he gets up extra early Purim. He says, this is the time, this is game time, this is overtime. Right now, Purim morning is overtime. That's the time where you're going to win the most. Get up early and do some avodas Hashem. Don't get pulled into all the balagan of Purim before you just lose the day. Grab the day with both hands and chaparayim. And that's the aim and pachad, but it's going to be revealed. This galas libo into the heart. Then the emotions start aligning with the truth. Now, since he accepts the kingdom of Hashem upon himself and draws upon him the fear of him in his consciousness and thought and rational volition, I know these are like fancy words. This is submission to Hashem without any doubt. That's the best way to get rid of Amalek. Amalek's Gematria Safek. When you get rid of Amalek, take on the Olmach Shemaim, the kingship of Hashem. Shahari Hitava Nafoshes Kol Yisrael Shalom Mored Melech B'Chodesh Baruch Hu. Because that's the real Melech. What is it? We don't want to rebel against the king. Who's the king? Hashem. We're deep down inside every single Yid is a teva, a nature to serve Hashem. We're Eved Hashem. My Rebbe used to scream out, Rav Simai Zilberberg used to scream out, Eved Hashem! He used to scream it out, Chassidus. You have to be an Eved Hashem! He'd scream it out with his whole heart. Yeah, we're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a week. Eved Hashem! And he'd scream, it's like mamish, like his whole essence would be like, this is it. It'd be like jumping in the air, screaming out to be an Eved Hashem, to serve Hashem. Then the Torah studies of the commandment he performs because of his submission to a heavenly yoke and because of the fear that's drawn into his mind and done complete service. Yeah, so no, I have a friend, Shmuel Diamond, we talked about him. He was asking me if I wanted to go to India. I said, I don't know. But he also asked me if I wanted to work with him. It didn't work out. But one thing I'm for sure going to take from this explanation he has on Tanya, this summary is excellent. So I might be going to India, and I'm probably not going to work with him right now. But I am going to share his Gewaldige summary of Tanya. That's from his website, b'nai.aliyah.com. It says here that if after all the above imagination you're not feeling a palatable emotion in the heart, don't worry. For the dedication of one's mind and heart, fill in one's behavior talis, continues a true Kabbalah's Olmach Shemayim. The divine service undertaken with this mental conviction is called a Avodah Shlema. That's what we just learned. Perfect service is a prerequisite for Hasharas Hashchina. Remember, we've just been learning about the Mishkan and the Kohen Gadol. There has to be the Sharas Hashchina. What's going to come together? It's a Avodah Shlema. Yeah, this perescuit for Hasharas Hashchina demonstrates your bittul. That's another big concept in Tanya. Mark Shalom Alev and bittul. So someone asked me in London again and again. He's pushing me. This guy, this like Lumdisher guy from Manchester, was asking me. We had a shir with all these chaver in Heikel Baal Shem Tov, Alex Klershaw. I gave it to this group called the Clubhouse Boys. I put up the shir. We were learning Likut Moran. It was last week's Likut Moran shir. Was meant to be here. We did it there in London. So I gave it over, and the idea, he kept asking me about bittul. So we were learning Breslov. So there's a little bit more of the Breslov Dikka bittul that I was explaining there. But there's also the Chabad bittul. We have to nullify ourselves a little bit to Hashem's will. We're going to want to watch the football over time, and we're saying, no, I'm going to do shit. Or we want to, just go crazy on Purim and lose ourselves. No, I have responsibilities. I can't just go crazy. There's a day after, there's a day before, and there's a Yom Adin. I can't just lose myself completely. There's always that little like restraining. I mean, look, I've been by big rabbis who've really got shikha, and they miss Marev, and they don't have charata because they were serving Hashem. They became the mitzvah, so they weren't able to do. They did Kriya Shema. They just didn't do Shemona Esrei. They weren't able to make it. They were just too out of it. So they did the mitzvah. They were machazek a lot of people that Purim. All right. So what do we know? Yeah, but sometimes a mitzvah you're also going to miss a patzim in a mitzvah. What can you do? They were doing it at the Shem mitzvah. One of them was a big talmud of the David and Soloveitch. We spoke about it once. Anyway, we are required to serve as an Eved, but also as a Ben. But Yira precedes Ahava. Remember, so there's the Eved, which is Yira, and there's the Ben, which is the son, is Ahava. Yeah, so we have to get it right, the balance. Let's just read a little bit more, and then we'll messiah him for today. He says, "Masha'en ken im lo men mekayim a mitzvah hava levada k'dei ledafka ba ayidei terasa mitzvaso ein nekras b'shem avodas Eved." On the other hand, if someone studies Torah and performs a commandment with love alone, that's a lot of our generation, you know. And if you've watched some of the Kirivi kind of stuff going on nowadays, it's very ava. Yeah, love, everything's love. Yeah, I start feeling the Beatles song turning on, you know. Love. And all the Kiriv rabbis, love, and all holding hands and everything's fluffy and cozy and being a Jew is the best thing, you know. It's true. But we have to, obviously, like there's Chassidus and Panemius, yeah, that a love, a hava, by itself is not service of the servant, which is obviously when you're doing kiruv, you can't just tell people bittul, nullify yourself. Yeah, when you're going to get married, it's going to be korbanos, you're going to be mosa nefesh. You start using all these lashonos. Who's going to want to join? Yeah, if I would tell you like a real furry. I remember once I taught in yeshiva, and I was still new as a teacher somewhat, and I was sitting there as a yeshiva called Shari Yishalayim, and I took a Mesilat Yesharim, and I started roasting the guys there. Yeah, roasting them. I used to call them bums. I used to say, "Get up, bums." And I say, "Buddy, burn to bum. Yeah, come on, let's learn. We have to go learn." And I'd bring them into base mission and I'd be burning them with musa. And they'd all get stomach aches and all sort of disappear slowly from the shir. Yeah. So I realized after, this is my first year teaching in yeshiva, I realized after a few weeks, I was like, I'm doing it wrong. This is not what my Rebbe teaches, this is not what I'm supposed to do. I have to give the avo. But at the end of the day, if they never break through to the Yira, they never get to a bit of avodas Hashem, real avodas Hashem, where they're selfless a little bit and go beyond themselves, and it's all just what's convenient. Like they say, like the off the derech guys, they get the brand new trainers, they get all the TLM, and the guy who's a good bacher, he gets garnished. He's a good bacher, I don't have to take care of him. He's fine. He's learning. He's on a good. There's such a thing going on, The guy is good, who behaves himself, he gets no attention, and the guy is on the edge and going over the edge is they're spending who knows what money and resources to save him, and they're ignoring the normal guy. That's not fair. Also, it has to be balanced. Everything balanced. So this is the idea of serving Hashem with being a avodah shlema. We have to go up a level. This is what my Shmuel Dama called this thing B'nai Aliyah. We have to get to a point where we're actually heading to a high level service of Hashem. And not just get stuck in a fluffy, cozy, chillin, kugel, Farbrengen, avoda like we're going to have tonight. We have to actually, when we're having the Farbrengen, talk real talk and deal with stuff. Really deal with stuff. Use the time when we're together as a chevra to face stuff, not just escape. Lots of l'chaims and then just floating or do drugs and float off. We have to face our stuff instead of stuff our face. We have to really take it on. Yeah. The Torah says, "Avodas Hashem Elokeichem v'osa tavdu." Yeah, you shall serve the Lord your God. Him you shall serve. Ta'avodu. Yeah, it signifies motivated by the fear and awe of Hashem. This is the Zohar Kodesh in Bahar. Just like the ox on which one first places a yoke in order to make it useful to the world. Hakinami esrich levad nosh lekable alei omal kshamayim b'kedemisa v'ai lo ashkacha gevei lo shoi bekedusha. Yeah, that he first submits himself to the yoke of Hashem, and if the submission not found him, holiness is going to rest of him. You can't get the Shekhin if you don't have the omal kshamayim. So that's the aleph base. First, take on omal kshamayim. I'm here to serve you, Hashem. So, for example, Purim, make a little bit of a seder in your day. Yeah, in the night time, I'm going to do the Megillah, I'm fasting, I'm going to break the fast, I'm not going to get shik in the night. It's not Indian to get shik in the night, I know why people do it. Make a l'chaim, it's Marbe Suda Kasat says in Lashon and the Shulchan Aruch. A little bit. There's no Indian, I don't know where the whole from we're not nuts on Lel Purim and then they're missing the day. No one ever said that. There's no such thing. The night is a normal Suda to break the fast. You make a little bit of chaim. Happy. Party means minimal party, not crazy. The real Suda's mitzvah is in the day. And that's after you've done all the other mitzvahs of Kriyas Megillah. And that means you woke up early, normal time, maybe even earlier, like we said, Gedalia, like get up early, to really cup around on the day, learn a little bit, daven a little bit, do some avodas Hashem in the morning, and then come to davening with Yirah Shamayim and Simcha, and like getting into the voda of it, hearing the Megillah and all the inyanim, and the Megillah of the night, Megillah of the day. Each one has a different inyan, just like shofar in the night, shofar in the day, hallow in the night, hallow in the day, and Pesach. All these different inyanim are going on, and all the chagim. It's a holy, holy day. And now you have the opportunity to do the mitzvahs of the day of Matanos Sivyonim and Shalach Manas, and then comes before you go and start the Suda, go daven mincha. Don't start the Suda till you daven mincha. And if you do start the Suda, have in mind daven mincha before you get into the Suda. However, just make sure you get mincha done. Now you've done your davenings of Purim, you said Al Nissim, you've done all the mitzvahs, and now you can let go a little bit and just go out ad liyoda. But even then, there's going to be a Marv at some point in the night, hopefully. And like I said, I'm not that rabbi, but you're going to get to that Marv, hopefully. And you can definitely say Shema. That you can do. Everyone can say Shema. It's not so hard. It's like a few minutes. Say the Shema quietly, while there's a whole matzah going on. If in case you're falling sleepy, just say Shema. These are things we think about. Oh, Mok Shema is Rosh Hashanah Shema. We have to think about it. And then the Purim is real. You served Hashem in Purim, and you didn't just get caught up in the balagan of the day, and you forgot all the mitzvahs. And and remember the mitzvahs are connected to Yud Kei Vav Kei. Like we had film before last week. The mitzvahs of Purim are Yud Kei Vav Kei. Yeah, the Yud is the Mikras Megillah. The Hey is Shlach Manas. The Vav is the Suda, and the Hey is Matanos Sivyonim, something like that. It's connected. The Ben Ish Chai brings it. Yud Kei Vav Kei. You can check on the Ben Ish Chai. But the idea that we're connecting into this, we're having a connection to Hashem, HaMelech, we're connecting to HaMelech. And it's also above the Yud Kei Vav, it's Keser, which is above, Lifnai Lifnim. You're going and you're becoming like a Kohen Gadol. That's why always Tzaveh is before. Also, the one more thing, my wife's Yom Halelet, she mentioned, it's going to be on Tuesday. I'm going to be here in the morning, Bez Hashem. The idea is
We'll hear you later.
I've got Mechina for my third son. The whole the rest of the day I'm by Mechina. Baruch Hashem, we'll make a big teches. It's a big zach. He done really, really well, and it's a new mechina that's come out, and it's called Yadav Amunah. On Moshe Rabbeinu's Hilula, we're having a tekes on Moshe. Yadav Amunah is the name of the mechina. With my third son, Baruch Hashem. It's all Min Hashamayim. We know who knows the tikkunim that are going on, but Moshe Rabbeinu says Shlach Kodesh Lamala, and Mordechai Lamata, and they're the Tzaddikim above, Tzaddikim below. They're fixing up Purim for us. We have to remember this. We're with the Tzaddikim on this special day. Get that Chizzuk to be connected to Tzaddik. We'll just say two more lines on the Tanya and we finish. When we find a When we just said on from Shmuel Diamond, the idea we have to be an Eved or a son. You have two aspects in serving Hashem. Either a slave or a son. And slave means a servant. Let's say it more positively. And although when we find a son who is also a servant, is it possible to attain a degree without the prerequisite of what? Of the high level of Yirah Shamayim, of aura, of awe. Yeah, awesome. Real awesomeness. Yeah, not this American pretend awesomeness, real awesome. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's taking a word that really means awe. I'm having an experience of godliness, not just awe, awesome, because something looks cool or whatever. It's clear from all the above that even if one loves Hashem but lacks a fear of Him, his spiritual labors will not be kind that the Torah calls avoda, divine service. And should he fail in attempts at awakening fear of and high, he should at least arouse a feeling of fear and awe in his mind. So that's always the safety measure. That's why Malach Shalal Alei, Melech, is that by reminding yourself of the Melech, at least in your mind intellectually you know that there's a king. Fine, you don't always feel it, let's be real, yeah? We've got all kinds of things drawing us this way, that way. But at least in our mind we're saying, I have a goal. I'm trying to connect to the Melech this Purim. Trying the real Melech. That's what Esther Malka, she was busy with connecting to the Melech. She all the time is talking to the Melech. She wasn't talking to Achashverosh. That was just down here. She was talking to the Melech the whole time. All her tefillahs, all her avodah, everything was our Melech, the king. We have to try to do that. Tune a bit more into the root of everything. And my wife said to me that if we really get into the root, my soulmate, so Yom Halelet as well, Moshe Rabbeinu's Hilula. So her name's Masha, so it's all connected. Zion, and I'm a week later, so we're all connected. Yeah, the idea that she said to me that you have to everyone needs to get more into shorish of things, into the root. We're too much into the externalities. Get into the root, then we experience the real pleasure, the real point of what we're here for. And without Bez Hashem, we're zoga to the Freilich and Purim, and the Freilich is Zayin Adar, and Bez Hashem, Moshe Rabbeinu should look out for us, Mordechai should look out for us. We should be with Esther Malk, all the Tzaddikim, and dance like we have all the Simcha in the space Midrash. Amen for Amen.
Amen.
Look at this, dancing everywhere. It's lovely.